impregnator. I don't know if there's any grammar like that. If there is no grammar, add it. A father is not who? An impregnator. That you are able to impregnate a lady does not mean that you're a father. These days now, we now have male that are now female. And female that are now male. I hear there is one called Bobrisky. I don't know which one that person is. Is he male or female or male? Being a male does not make you a father. Being a male doesn't make you a father. It doesn't. Fatherhood is a character. Fatherhood is a character exhibited by the one occupying that office. You are not a father because you have a child. I'm going to prove it. You are not a father simply because you have a child. Fatherhood is a character. God looked at Abraham and changed his name to Abraham, meaning father of what? Many nations, when he does not have a child. He was placed into the office of fatherhood without even having a child. So fatherhood is not because you have a child. It is a character. What character makes you a father? Before I go into a character that makes you a father, let me say the character that makes you not to be a father. Number one, bad examples. Remember, I said it is not because you have a child that makes you a father. It is not because you can impregnate a woman that makes you a father. It is an office and the role you play in that family that makes you a father. Every father is an influencer. Every father is an influencer. Who do you influence? Touch your neighbor. Say, neighbor. Are you listening? We already know that by definition the word father means the source, the progenitor, originator, progenitor, originator, the source. The source. Fatherhood is a character that you exhibit. What makes you a father? Like I said, I want to first of all talk about what makes you not to be a good father. The first one is certain bad examples. Certain bad examples. Because a father is an influencer. Whatever example that you set flows through your lineage. Because children learn by examples. They learn by what you do. They learn by what you do. They learn more by what you do than what you say. So what you do affects them. It can make them, it can mar them. A father is a mentor. A father is a coach. A father is a good husband. When a father exhibits bad examples, the children copy it. If a father is this type of fathers that beat their wives, the children will grow up with the mentality that fathers, husbands must beat their wives. Why? Because they watch. For the male, you affect them. For the female, you make them see every man as a boxer. It will always affect their relationship in this life. One way or the other, your attitude will determine how they will relate. There are so many families that are having issues, not because they intended to have it, but it's simply because of what they saw between their mother and their what? Father. You don't set an example that is wrong before your children. You shouldn't be a wife beater. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be abusive. If you're emotionally abusive person, you will communicate same to your children. You know, there are so many fathers, their words alone. Some say it will be better for you to beat me than for you to speak the words you speak to me. And as the children grow up, they carry such character into their family, into their relationship. That's why you will see some young girls. I've been a pastor for some time now, and I've been counseling quite a number of persons, so I understand. There are some young girls who can't have a stable relationship. Why? Because of what they saw in their homes. Am I talking to people in the house? There are some. Bad examples such as being drunk before your children. Most times I always say to some people, I said, see, if you're a drunk before your children, if your children follow after your footsteps, what advice will you give to them? Am I talking to people in the house? Hey, touch your neighbor, say, are you listening? What advice will you give to your children? If your relationship with your wife is not cordial, and your child, when your child gets married and you are now in the position to watch the same thing you do to your wife, or the same thing the wife does to the husband, if it is reversed, what will you, as a father that has been doing the same thing to your child, to your wife, what will you advise your child? That's why I love the golden rule that said, what you don't want others to do unto you, don't do it unto them. Don't show bad examples. Don't be a drug addict. These are bad examples. Don't be temperamental. As much as it is approved to be angry, but be quick to be appeased. Don't show wrong examples to the family. What does fatherhood entail? Number one, love. A father loves his family. Number two, a father cares for his family. Number three, a father disciplines. A father disciplines. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14. I just want to be snappy with this. It's an admonition. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14.
Like as a father pitied his children.
Like as a father pitied his children, so the Lord pitied them that fear him. Our first example of a father is no other person than God. And therefore, we must follow after the footsteps of God as a father. As a father. And one of his characteristics, can I have the New Living Translation? On this New Living Translation, please. NLT, yes. And here the NLT translation, he said, the Lord is like a father to his children. How does he express his fatherhood? He is what? Tender and what? Compassionate. If you are tender and compassionate, then you must learn to look at your children. You must be observant. The intention of most hearts is expressed in their face. You must be able to know when something is wrong in your child's life. If you cannot look at your child and know that something is wrong, then you are not playing the role of a father. Am I still communicating this morning? You aren't playing that role. You must be tender. You must be compassionate. The second characteristic of a father is care. Is care. 1 Peter 5:7. 1 Peter 5:7. 1 Peter 5:7. Give all your worries and cares to God, for he does what? He cares about you. A father is a caregiver. A father is a caregiver. The worries of a family comes upon the father. When there is school fees to pay, it is the responsibility of the father. When there are rents to pay, it is the responsibility of the father. When your children need clothes, it is the responsibility of the father. Take note. Can I hear somebody say the father? Even a husband becomes a father to the wife. That's why when we wed, we'll say hand over. That we got from the book of, I think that should be in Deuteronomy, Exodus, thereabouts. Why? Because every woman is always under authority. Your authority shifts from your father to your husband, who becomes your husband and at the same time becomes your what? Father. Why? Because the authority has shifted. Am I talking to people in the house? You're a caregiver. If you are not paying school fees of your children, you are an irresponsible father. You didn't hear me well. Am I talking to people or am I by myself? Pastor, you are by yourself. Oh. Cast all your worries and cares to God. Why? Because He is your Father. It is the responsibility of the father to take care of the children. My wife was telling me about the Child Rights Act. I said she's going to speak to the church about the Child Rights Act. The rights and responsibilities of a child. Meaning that if a father does not play his role very well in the life of a child, that father can be sued. The father can be sued and you will be jailed for it. It is in Nigerian law. But we don't want it so that fathers will not be sued. But you're going to tell them, praise God. The father's responsibility, provide food, shelter, clothing, the necessary amenities. That's the father's responsibility. Am I still talking to people in the house? If you are not doing it, you are not a good father. You are not. You are not. And I always tell people, I said, the moment you allow your wife to start playing your role as a father, you have divided that home. The moment you allow it, that the wife begins to play that role, what you have done is to shift the relationship of your children to your wives. You have shifted it. And the moment you shift it, as you grow in age, you will discover that your children will be tendering towards the one that has been caring for them. Am I saying that the woman should not help? No, that's not what I'm saying here. Today's emphasis is on fatherhood. There is a place for where the woman should help. But this one, it is the responsibility of a man. Don't abrogate your responsibility to the woman. Else you destroy your home. Don't do it. First Peter 5:2, also on this. First Peter 5:2, verse 2 of it, verse 2. That same chapter 5, verse 2. Care for the flock that God has entrusted to you. Watch over it willingly, not grudgingly. Not for what you will get out of it, but because you are eager to do what? Serve God. Remember, God is the first caregiver, and we are to follow after his examples. The children that God has given to us are the flocks that God has given to us, which we must care willingly, not grudgingly. Willingly, not grudgingly. And please, no parents should ever put pressure on their children when they cannot provide yet. So many parents have been able to, when a father can tell the daughter or the son to be giving him or her money, and when that child is not, or that son is not able to stand strong yet, what are you trying to do? You are putting pressure on that child. You are putting pressure on that young girl. You're putting pressure on that young man. You want that young man to do something extra. You want that young girl to begin to go out of her way in order to go through men to be able to get money to feed you. You're a bad father. And if you're a mother, you're a bad mother. Hey, did you hear what I've just said now? If you have played your role well in the life of that child, and if you have also played your own role, you won't be asking that child at that age. Improper planning has made some fathers to become beggars in their old age. Improper planning. You don't plan, you now put the responsibility and the burden upon the child. As the child grows, I don't even want to use the word child. You don't do that. A woman will say, no be you, no be your mate, no be your mate, they buy clothes for your mother, no be your mate. And you know that child is still in school. And you are saying, no be your mate, they buy. Wrong attitude. Wrong attitude. Finally, a father disciplines. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 5. A father disciplines. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 5. Think about it. Just as a parent disciplines a child, the Lord your God disciplines you for your own word's good. In Hebrews, the Bible says, he that the Father loveth, he does what? He chastises. He chastens. A father's role is to discipline. What is discipline? Teaching, instruction, correction. What is discipline? Discipline is teaching, instruction, correction. Discipline varies. As your child grows, the mode of discipline changes. You cannot correct an 18-year-old with the way you correct a 2-year-old. No. In fact, the Bible says, spare the rod. And what happens? You spoil the child. For a child. I know this is where my wife does not agree with me. But we are in Africa. We are not in Oyibo man's land. If my children, right now I don't beat Excel again because he's a big boy. We talk and he listens. In fact, he doesn't even give me reasons. But we talk as men. Yes, we sit down. But when he was much younger, I beat him as a man. We fight. Because if I beat you, you will repent 30 times in one day. But as time progressed, we've left that aspect. We now talk. We correct you. You see this? This is the reason you shouldn't do this. If you do this, this is going to be the outcome. And let me tell you, children, you can never know better than your children or your fathers. Your fathers have what is called experience. What you are trying to do, they have done it years before you. They already know the outcome. So they will stand in a better position to tell you what will be coming ahead of you. If you like, call them old school. Small boy like Salem looked at me and looked at me one day and he said, he laughed. They were talking. I said, what are you talking? He said, Daddy, leave this thing. You will not understand. Me, I will not understand. As small as he was, you are telling me your father. And these children keep forgetting that a principal was once what? A student. There is no game a child plays that a father has not played it. The only difference is that the forms have changed. In those days, you used to play Oga, Bakpangolo, Udume, Onyomara. See all of them. No, I'll be the old school indeed. Those days you used to play Okoso. Even my finger did like that till today. This generation of children don't know that. Their game, they've changed. Right now, they play computer games. You didn't see computer, not to talk of the game. You didn't see phone. The only phone you saw while growing up used to be that one that you go to your uncle's house that used to stay in William Jumbo. And that one is usually like this. 084-331-42. That was the only thing. And they used to use padlock to lock it. But it's not the same. Our generation, the children generation, they have changed. You need to be observant as a father. It takes an observant father to know when the child is sick or not. A playful child suddenly becomes calm. What do you expect? You need to ask what? Question. And finally, a father pays attention, gives his time. A father gives his time, his attention to his family. You give attention to your children's education. The moment you neglect it, you are at the risk of destroying that child's life. As Excel entered secondary school, every day as he comes back, in fact, even till today, Salem must tell me what they did in school. Excel will tell me everything. What did you do in school? Yes, I want to know step by step. You must tell me. As they are sending his results to me through mail, and then he's bringing in the booklets, I will sit down and begin to analyze each subject by subject. What did you do well? Why didn't you do well here? In what area? How do I help you in this area? What should be done to improve in this particular area? If you don't give time, you will lose. Your children will be lost. Time in their education. As far as there is no way they will go to school and I will not. You must tell me. Which friend? Who is your friend? If a father does not know his children's friends, then you have lost that child. Why won't I know my children's friend? Tell me.